Okay, we are here on the SchmearCast. I am rejoined by Alison Sivitz, a.k.a. Sivvy, a.k.a. Bald Ann Dowd. And Alison, I want to start off by apologizing to you because I sent you a long Parker Posey profile just 3 minutes ago, and you didn't have the chance to read it.
Have you read it?
No. My mom sent it to me to send to you.
Oh my God,
so
okay.
It's a virtuous circle, but I apologize that you didn't get the chance to read
Gabriel's
it unless
mom.
you chat GPT'd, the content of it, but I hope
did not,
you
and I will never.
Okay. You'll read it. You'll
read it.
frame it.
Yes. That is going to be huge for me. I'm going to get in bed at probably 8:30 p.m., get real cozy, read my Parker profile. Like, that's a good night for me.
Well, welcome back to the show. How are you doing? I guess I want to start by asking you, it's been a week since our episode came out, since the White Lotus Season 3 Episode 1 came out. What'd you think of the episode and its reception? And also, how do you feel like the conversation around White Lotus has been progressing or not in the past few days?
I have surprisingly not seen as much conversation about it as I thought I would. Maybe my algorithm has just steered me in a weird direction. But I haven't seen as many people kind of discussing like the plot, the substance of the show, as much as I thought I would. But I have seen, of course, a lot of praise and a lot of actually criticism of Parker Posey's performance, which is annoying to me.
Do you have Google alerts set?
No, I don't. I should.
That could be something for next time.
Yeah, Parker, if you're listening, I promise I'm not a creep. I just think you're fantastic.
Let me tell you what I've been seeing, and I just want to get your read on a few of these items, and you could say agree or shut that shit down. I'm tired of hearing about people disliking the new score. Get over it.
I haven't seen this.
Oh my God.
You've brought this up twice now. I have not seen anyone comment on the score at all.
This is what people are most upset about. But, by the way, I've been whistling the new theme all day today. So
I like it better.
It's got in my head. You were on mic saying that last week. That's true.
I'm on mic saying it again this week. I don't know. Something about it really, I don't know. It's just more pleasing to me. Maybe because I think when I hear a sound, I tend to imitate it, and I got tired of hearing myself do the the yodel from the last two seasons. So maybe it's just like calmer in my head.
Got it.
But yeah, I did want to say the old theme came back at a point in this episode. Did you notice that?
That is true. I think I did ambiently and then specifically later on.
Yeah.
You know what
it
I
was
mean?
something with Walton Goggins. Yeah. It was something with Walton Goggins. He said something, and then that I call it a yodel that came through, and I got very excited. But
Good.
Yeah, I like it being sparsely sprinkled throughout. I don't think we need it every episode.
So another thing that kind of set the internet ablaze in the corners of White Lotus world is the Ratliff incest angle, which was shocking to many. And I'm not pro incest, but I will say we are in a chaste society, more chaste than ever. Yeah. So like, let the show go nuts. Like, come on, I'm enjoying it. This is my point.
I'm fascinated.
I don't want people reading into that too much, but you know what I mean.
No, there was a quote about it that from Mike White in that profile that you sent me, also about him,
right? That
I really liked. He is gay, his dad is gay, which I didn't know. I found that really moving and lovely that they have bonded over this very specific thing that they share in life. Profile said, the new season includes a hint of incest, or perhaps more than a hint, as well as a gay plotline that is, White promises, truly satanic. He likes the idea of finding ways to depict gay life as transgressive or even perverted, not, of course, to condemn it, but to connect it to the rest of humanity and the rest of human sexuality. Quote, it's not all harmless, he says, but it's not inherently harmful. It's inherently very natural. We're animals. I like his willingness to go for it because I do think that there is a tendency for creatives to try to represent their community in a very good kind of upstanding way because they got one shot and they feel like they're speaking on behalf of every member of that community. But I like him saying no, I'm just going to do something fucked up for the sake of it because I can, and I think it's interesting, and not everyone is perfect, and we should be able to look at these perverted, weird stories and be able to handle that.
I think that's a great point. It reminds me of this piece that came out when the second season was out by Mark Harris. It was about these gays are trying to murder me, and it was saying that he as a gay writer is sick of the happy-go-lucky gay portrayed in movies and TV, and enjoys this new villainy and the new shades of it. And he referenced also Tom Ripley from, The Talented Mr. Ripley. I think that's really smart. That profile you mentioned, that came out in the New Yorker a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. What else did you take away from it that you found was interesting about the White Lotus creator, Mike White?
I thought it was interesting that he basically owns like beachfront property in Hawaii. He works there. He does all of this stuff, and he sort of self-identified as someone who would be on the show. He is writing this and is sort of self-awarely saying, I am to a degree all of these people who I'm satirizing.
A little piece of him in each of them. Yes.
So, I mean, we talked last week about how good he is at getting in other people's heads, whether it's a 45-year-old woman or a 16-year-old girl or an old man. Like, he could really do anything, and it's very impressive. And there were many quotes from his collaborators in that piece about how good he is at that and how impressive he is as a writer.
Really well said. Another thing that I found striking, and I know this, but I was happy to be reminded of it, is his connection to reality TV and how he was a Survivor contestant and Amazing Race. And, what he finds in those shows is just this cutthroat humanity on display. Some people could be higher brow and dismissive of reality TV. He loves that shit because he feels like he's seeing like people stripped to their essence. So it's kind of cool that he loves that so much. And then the other thing I gathered, you mentioned him working on White Lotus in Hawaii. It seems like the show has taken over his life, for better or worse, and he fully admitted that. He said he broke up with his long-term partner because he was workaholic on White Lotus season 3. He has an edit bay installed in his house in Kauai, which, by the way, I do what you do, but like I feel like got to keep church and state a little separate. And
I agree.
Can't bring work to Hawaii, but what do I know?
I agree, but also kind of that does sound sort of like the dream to have an edit bay in my home in Hawaii.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah. Really quickly, back to the reality TV thing, though. He says, he's quoted as saying, I'm not a Criterion guy, which surprised me because I think he's such a fantastic director. And obviously he's worked in the industry for a long time. But a lot of the direction in this season has been very pleasing to me. But I have been on the record many times as saying that the most compelling season of television I have ever watched is Love Island UK season 5, because those people are going at each other's throats. They are forming some of the most compelling relationships. Like, it is absolutely wild. And I think that his observation of that and his love for that is very palpable. And I think it's where the convergence of reality kind of quote unquote trash TV lovers and higher brow viewers, like, I think that's where it happens.
I think you're literally pinpointing the success, why the show is successful.
Yes, I think it appeals to everyone for that reason, because he's really getting to the heart of what makes these people awful, and he's really, I mean, it's sort of animalistic the way these people go at each other, and totally. I think that the impulses that drive us to watch Love Island or Housewives or whatever it might be, are the same impulses that make us love this.
I don't watch this, but Southern Charm, I saw
Never seen it, but also mentioned.
A very popular show. He mentioned that the Ratliffs are inspired by the families in Southern Charm. So
it made me want to watch Southern Charm.
That's a little nugget for the
for
the reality
curious.
Heads. So let's talk about episode 2 of the new season. And I guess I want to ask you, what were your headline thoughts? What did you think of season 3, episode 2?
I tried to think of something to say that was more coherent than what the fuck, but like truly what the fuck is going on with the men specifically. I think with the women...
Isn't that the question every day?
Every day in every scenario. With the women, I thought that this episode had a really good natural escalation of the toxicity of the relationships, and it was a really good showcase of how things can sort of slowly become really mean and catty without it being fully apparent. That was very interesting to me. But with the men are just kind of all over the place right now. I don't know. There was so much. Again, so much happens.
I didn't think this was such a critical episode in terms of plot. I think aside from the robbery, and now we'll talk about the episode, that was the main plot point. But there were also some funny moments, strong character work. And I just am enjoying the rhythms of the show. And I see some complaints that not enough's happening. And I see others saying it's not as funny as it was in past seasons. I'm good. I think it's in a groove. I'll leave it to the later episodes to knock my socks off. It's like, what do you expect? This is episode 2. Let's just give it some time.
I also, again, in that profile, Mike said something about this not being as funny of a season as the last two. I'm completely not seeing that at all. I laugh out loud multiple times per episode. I think, like, on a character level, there is so much happening for each person. We're really seeing them come to life. I don't know. It's not like big splashy stuff, but I do think a lot is happening, and I think it's very funny.
Let's talk about the episode specifically, walk through it a little chronologically.
Yeah.
Very small thing, could totally be overreading. I still have kind of Severance brain on, and that is interesting. I mean, should that be applied to White Lotus as well? It's not as specifically mystery box as Severance, but it does have some things that you kind of, we talked about it last episode, your ears perk up. And so something for me, this opening shot from the perspective of the water, like, is someone coming to the island? Is that a tsunami warning? We hear that Lachlan's really interested in tsunamis. Is that like a hint that something's gonna emerge out of that?
I had not thought about that. I don't know. Mike White's direction, I think everything is intentional. So that's a very good observation. I hadn't really, I don't know. I feel like I've paid the least amount of attention to Lachlan.
Lachlan just wants attention, you know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the ladies. That's like the first real scene of the episode. I'm sticking with the Cougars, you know?
Yeah.
The gossip Cougars.
Yeah.
Is hard charger the most backhanded term for a person you've ever heard?
Possibly.
Like if someone called you a hard charger, what would you feel? How would you feel?
Not great. I think every phrase that comes out of their mouths is more backhanded than the last thing.
But they're amazing too.
They're amazing. There's a moment where they're talking about it's the first scene of the episode, I believe. They're talking about Carrie Coon behind her back.
Yep.
Talking about her daughter, who we, kind of had little sprinklings of last week. We didn't really know what the situation was.
Girl. Yep.
Yes. Leslie Bibb says, I love her so much. I just worry about her, which gets to the heart of what I think is the most like insidious interpersonal behavior between warring women that I've seen in my life. This using worry and love as a way to kind of mask your cruelty, and using that as a way to justify just being horrible to another person. Like, oh, she's lost a lot of weight. I worry about her. She must be anorexic, or she's gained a lot of weight. I worry about her. That can't be healthy. Or she seems like she's having like.
So you're saying the worry isn't actual worry?
It's not authentic. I don't believe. No, but I've seen that a lot, and I think it's done very well here. I think Leslie Bibb and what's her name? Michelle Monaghan. Do a really good job of that whole thing.
That's the subtle mind games. Less subtle is worried that in New York City, kids are sucking each other off at 8 years old. Which, as a New York City kid myself, I'm not going to confirm or deny here on the pod, you know?
Yeah.
But Leslie Bibb is electric in this scene and in this episode. If there's an episode MVP, it's definitely her for me. The following day, we have a super awkward, excruciating moment between... I'm starting to get the names right, by the way. Victoria is Parker Posey's character. Kate is Leslie Bibb's character.
Yeah.
And they have this interaction at breakfast. This scene was just a masterclass of tension and women not saying how they feel. And I don't know if there's actual memory loss and forgetting here on Parker Posey's behalf or not, but this was just classic White Lotus. As Kate says that she remembers Victoria from a baby shower, Victoria, whether she's drug-addled, whether she just wants the conversation to move past, she just is so standoffish. What'd you think of this?
There are two ways to read it. Something happened and she's being sort of intentionally Parker Posey's being like intentionally kind of bitchy, but I read it very much because I've seen, like, I have known many versions of this type of woman in real life. I genuinely do believe that she is so kind of drugged out and tapped out and flighty that she just does not remember and does not know how to even like, she's just kind of out of it.
Okay. So you don't think something happened at that baby shower that she's, like, willfully trying to push past? Because this is part of my working theory of Parker Posey. Maybe this is just because you love her so much. I'm thinking about her. But, like, if she is just this drug-addled mess, that's not enough. Like, there's got to be another layer, and I'm wondering if she's, like, playing a long con, or, I don't know, just, like, if there's another layer to the onion that she's not revealing yet. Because there's this moment later, she's joking around with her nasty son, Saxon, and she's ordering Thai food. She's got this horrific pronunciation of these Thai words, and then suddenly she speaks a sentence in perfect Thai. And I was like, what? Huh?
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't think that her only thing is being drugged out. I do believe that something happened. The Thai was making me laugh so hard. Her just like crazy ordering off the menu. No, I don't know. I completely agree with you that.
But did you hear that line? Was I crazy? Did she like slip into correct Thai?
I think she did. She's lived a life that we are not seeing, and that the drugs are maybe sort of suppressing. But yeah, I don't know. I think
drug-addled Parker Posey is just not enough. So for meeting that character now, like, there's got to be more, because she can't keep this up all season. That's just not a good enough Mike White Lotus character.
No.
So it's just something I'm marking, saving for later, you know?
Yes. I do also believe that she's genuinely that flighty. There's some that I think both are true. I think something happened. I think whatever happened in her life is, obviously caused her to become drug-addled, and then I think that's kind of suppressing so much.
Sounds like she had some abusive brothers growing up, and now we're going off chronology.
Yes.
But that did not sound like a funny story of being pinned down by your brother and having him spit in your face.
No.
We all have different definitions of fun in the family, but that, to me, is not mine.
That is not it. I've known many people, again, many women who have kind of been like this and have pinpointed growing up with brothers as something that has, contributed to them being the way they are. I find it really interesting because her relationship with her daughter in this show is they're very distant. She's a narcissistic parent, whatever. But she kind of has this she really lets her sons do what they want. She laughs at everything her disgusting son says. And I almost view it as like she's not stopping her sons and sort of helping her daughter in any way, because she almost views it as something that her daughter should have to endure because she had to endure it. Like, she's not going out of her way to make her daughter's life any better or easier because
that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, that dynamic is very disturbing to me.
Is this a full-on Parker Posey podcast officially now? We're only following one character. It's a very laser-focused. Rick and Shritala. Rick continues to really eye this woman, this owner of the hotel. Still don't know what exactly that's about, but clearly some mystery there. Everyone's getting their wellness sessions, which is just good TV, like, to see everyone and what they're up to in this episode. Piper's getting some undue attention in yoga. This girl can't catch a break. Poor Piper.
I feel so bad for her.
Saxon's getting a massage, and the second I saw that Saxon was getting a massage, I was like, this guy definitely has a boner.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Wait, let's go back to... Okay, Piper's doing yoga.
Yes.
There's a weird guy there.
Male attention. Bald.
There's something with these bald men.
Vacation in general, but Thailand, like, just being so far from anything, being at these places, I think brings out terrible intentions, carnal instincts, as you're saying, especially sexually.
Yes, and we see that with Saxon, who once again walks by Amy Lou Wood at one point, and she wants him dead. His massage was disgusting. I was like, I know where this is going, and then it certainly went there.
Well, not for him.
Well, no, it did not. He was upset.
Thankfully, yeah.
That there was no happy ending, but...
He wanted a little special.
Yeah,
which,
and imagine saying that to your mom.
Oh, my God. And imagine your mom laughing at it that much. That's the whole thing.
Horrendous. And let's just, I do want to, the incestuous vibes are not just between the siblings. The
You're right.
Mom and son are very odd as well.
Rick has a meditation session that I want to discuss.
We've got to get him in therapy.
Definitely. I mean, you just look at the guy, and he's just holding a neon sign that says demons, This guy's got some shit, and here he says that his dad was murdered, that his mom was a drug addict. And for someone who's saying that he really doesn't give a shit about meditation, his gas in the tank analogy was pretty zen.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a deep thinker. I don't know.
He's kind of emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
His dad being murdered, maybe I'm thinking about this too much, but there's a lot of, in this episode, like we've talked about with the rot lifts, there's a lot of like son and dad
Oedipal
stuff. Just like wanting to impress your dad or wanting, just this relationship between fathers
Kill
and
your
sons.
dad, sleep with your mom.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the way Saxon's going. I do wonder if whatever fucked up shit Rick is caught up in has to do with whatever got his dad killed.
Right.
I do wonder if there's some connection to whatever his father's business was, because we still don't know much. That the guy he's looking for had a stroke. That's really the only other piece of information we've gotten. But
right, and
we'll
he needs to head to Bangkok at some point, as he keeps
yes.
mentioning. Belinda, no frills, no stress with Belinda. She just gets to massage a very buff, handsome Thai man.
I want them to hook up. I want her to have
that's all we want in life.
a good time.
That's a healthier situation than Guy Talk and Mook. I'm feeling for my guy Talk. He's just a sweet, poor guy because this woman, Mook, has him wrapped around her finger. And I'm concerned for him. He admits that he has feelings for her. It's so sweet. Whether she knows that he does or not, really shuts it down quickly. What'd you think of this interaction?
It broke my heart. It made me sad for him, but I also kind of got tense. I think the displays of masculinity we see in this show are not particularly healthy, and I do worry about the path we're going down if we're kind of exploring a rejected young man, especially
I'm so worried about him.
Because there was a guy in the first episode who she seemed to be interested in.
Right.
If he sees her...
The armored guards.
Yes. If he sees her with someone like that, will he just go completely off the rails?
Well, I think what's going to happen is that he... And this is a good segue into what happens to him next in this robbery. Pistol whipped, basically, and then this robbery begins. He's going to be like, I can't be the man for her if I don't toughen up. And so even though he's a perfect man now, that he loves his mother and he brings meals and he fixes bikes, like, Guy Talk, don't change, you're perfect. He's going to think, oh, I got to get tough. I got to be an asshole. I got to become violent. And we just know that's not going to go well for him.
I don't want him to have a Travis Bickle arc. I really hope that doesn't happen.
And that's a credit to the actor. I mean, that guy's just immediately likable with
He's
his
so
smile
sweet.
and his face. Yeah.
I know, and that's why I'm suspicious.
So let's talk about that robbery. What happens is Guy Talk is at the gate. Valentine, the Russian wellness guru, is talking to him, distracting him. We don't know. A car rolls up, and this white masked thief breaks in and has this violent robbery of the store. It takes a bunch of stuff. I want to ask you, we don't see who this person is. I think we can tell it's a male.
Yeah.
It's totally possible we haven't met this person yet, but I want to know, who do you think the suspects are who could be aiding and abetting this robbery? Because I have a few ideas.
Immediately thought it was Walton Goggins. Am I way off with that?
I think so.
Really?
I feel like he's got his own money. He's got a different mission. I don't think he'd be mixing himself up in this, in my opinion.
Don't understand where it would be going if it were Walton Goggins, but just something about his physicality looked like him to me. And again, it's a masked person in a hoodie. But he also had this look on his face after he hugged Amy Lou Wood post-robbery that made me think like, oh, was I not going crazy? Could it be him? I'm interested to see who you think it is.
I didn't even think about that layer, but that would be pretty dark and twisted. I thought that was just a genuine moment of affection before his girlfriend, who he called an idiot a few scenes earlier.
They're so romantic.
Get yourself a Rick. Ugh. So here are my ideas. Valentine makes Guy Talk hold up the barrier. So was he distracting Guy Talk from his duties to allow this car to go through? That's a pretty simple one. Yeah. Right? There's one person. He wouldn't be the robber, but maybe he's someone. Mm-hmm. I think the French-Canadian prostitute, Chloe, it was suspicious that she was in the dressing room.
I agree.
For this robbery. And then my last one, gotta say, I think Mook, I don't know. Something's up with Mook. I don't think she's a goody two-shoes. My radar's up with Mook.
So you think it was in two cases, you believe it could have been a woman. It just did not. It sounded
no, not the robber, but the aider and the abettor of the situation. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't think that we've met the actual robber yet?
No.
All right, interesting. I guess we'll find out.
I don't know.
To me, seems like there's a world where Rick and Greg might...
Here, going by the name Gary?
Yes. There might be... I think they could be connected or know each other or have some sort of history in some way. They, to me, feel... I don't know why my gut is telling me that they have something to do with it, but maybe I'm way off.
I don't think so, just because when they meet and have that very awkward dinner, these guys, I believe they've never met before and really don't like each other either. Let's talk about the aftermath of the robbery. That Rick and Chelsea hug that you think has multiple layers of jujitsu behind it. I just thought it was a sweet moment, but maybe you're right. Just talking about Rick and Chelsea just on the surface as a couple. Did just call her an idiot. He's been a complete fucking asshole for the past 2 episodes. You don't hug someone like that unless you actually love them. You know, there is real affection between them.
I do believe he cares for her deeply. And again, it's like her saying, I almost died, and him saying, no, you didn't. Like, he would never... I don't know. Again, maybe I'm way off, but multiple people told her she didn't almost die. The French-Canadian told her that. She's very suspicious to me as well. I agree with you there.
I think so. Rick's wellness session, maybe it did get to him more than he's letting on.
Yeah.
And they do get it on, him and Chelsea, later in the episode. By the way, Walton Goggins' abs, where did those come from?
I was going to say, he's ripped.
Ripped.
I had no idea. I saw that and I was like, oh, wait, I get the Goggins thing now.
Is there a Goggins thing going?
There's a Goggins thing. That's something I've seen online that I was...
Goggins thirsting?
Goggins thirst. And I didn't know that was real, that it's real. And I can't say I fully get it, but I get it more now than I did before.
You know what? I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Because those abs, you got to do a lot of sit-ups for those. So I'm sure he worked hard to get that thirst coming his way.
Yeah.
So that's the big event of the episode and of the day. Later on, we get this dinner scene. Another great White Lotus dinner scene. Shritala's performance was awesome.
Yeah.
What a great singer.
A star.
Felt very sad for my boy Fabian, the manager, a.k.a. Rudolph Hess from Zone of Interest. He's mouthing the words to the song.
That made me laugh out
I know he's
loud.
He's so buttoned up, and he's German, and you know I have a lot of Germans in my life. I know he just wants to get up there and belt out an aria and be himself, and maybe we'll get a Fabian performance by the end of the season.
He clearly wants to perform very badly. The reason him mouthing along made me laugh so hard is because have you watched Veep? Anyone who has watched Veep, it was reminiscent to me of when Selena is giving a speech and Gary is sort of like standing in the corner just mouthing along with her speech because he's like so in love with her and so kind of enamored by the whole thing. That's why it was funny.
It's a sweet character quirk,
yes.
You know? If performances are a thing at the dinner, does that mean Lisa of Blackpink, who plays Mook, is going to perform? Because that would be epic.
That'd be amazing. I've actually never, don't come for me, I've never seen a Blackpink, not you.
I haven't either. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I've never seen the...
Should we make that our own homework for post-pod?
I think tonight I'm going to look into... the whole deal. It's there for One Direction mania. I know the mania.
Yeah.
You know a mania.
You know a mania. Yeah.
I know a mania when I see it. And there's something with Blackpink that I gotta tap into.
I heard they're kind of big.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit popular.
I do want to see that. All right, that'll be our homework. We'll watch a Blackpink song and we'll check out Lisa's performance and her. I think they dance and sing. It's a whole
oh my god,
song and dance, literally.
The K-pop industry is wild.
So I'm curious. I would like to see Mook perform. I'd like to that would just be fun if not every episode, but someone else is performing at these like dinner performances every night. I'd be down for that. We mentioned Victoria's weird story about her brothers, and maybe the incest starts from this part of the apple and falls to that part of the tree or whatever the expression is. But I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when talking about her and talking about women like that grow up with brothers. And I don't want to go to this dark place, but if the incest vibes are there with the kids, maybe it's coming from the parents, you know?
Yeah.
Her own abusive upbringing, but that's dark.
Yeah.
The show can be dark. Rick and Greg, speaking of dark, these are two of the darkest fellas. And I want to ask you again, you know, I feel like when we talk about stunted men, we talk about, you know, the Ratliff guys, but Rick and Greg are two guys that seem to not have their shit together. This and that's what they say they're up to here in Thailand. What do you think this and that meant?
It doesn't feel good. It's definitely crime.
criminal
I believe.
in nature. Yeah.
We know that what's the Ratliff dad's name?
Oh, well, he's also into some crime.
Yes,
Timothy.
he's money laundering.
Yes.
I feel that
Brunei.
Rick and Greg are doing something darker than money laundering. I feel that there's blood on their hands. Just because that feels like the White Lotus way. What was your reading of their industry?
I don't know. Murder and extortion and racketeering, who knows?
Yeah.
But
all
also,
of it.
I don't get the sense that I think Rick could be like an evil genius. I don't think Greg is that smart. I feel like he's just stumbling through his schemes successfully, but he's a real loser. And
I agree. I feel that Greg was almost born into it. He was put into this position, and he's just kind of coasting along. Rick had to work for whatever this is.
You know who's on Greg's ass is Belinda, because she clocks him in this scene. I don't think it fully lands who it is and what he did to Tanya, but I think she'll put the pieces together pretty quickly.
Yes. I thought Natasha Rothwell's performance was really, really good. It's very clear that she's not fully caught up, like you just said. Like, she's getting there. She began to clock it. She was very good at kind of staying a little confused, a little bit detached, but that's going to be, when it clicks, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I think that she's a great performer, and we have the familiarity with her from the first season. But if there's any character that seems to be outside of the action, it's her, because everyone's paired off into families or couples, and she's just a sole traveler. So I would like to see her infiltrate the plot a little bit more moving ahead. You know what I mean?
I agree. I hope we get more time with her, and I believe that we will.
Yeah.
I just want it to happen faster.
Timothy Ratliff has the loudest illegal conversation in this parking lot. He basically screams, "Am I implicated?" And maybe
now you
lower
are.
your voice. Yeah, exactly.
You weren't.
Did you see that this was Kiwi
Kiwi
Kwan
Kwan? Yeah.
on the phone? Yeah. That's amazing.
I clocked that voice immediately. I was
Really?
very excited. Yeah, I'm very good at recognizing voices.
Wow, that is a talent. So Laura Dern did this, and she played a voice on a phone.
Yeah, that's fun. That's my dream. I want to be asked to be a voice on a phone.
Do you think Kiwi Kwan will arrive at the White Lotus, or is this just another voice thing?
I don't know. I think he'd be stoked to show up at the White Lotus. I feel like he'd have so much fun.
Or would you be stoked?
I would be stoked as well. He just seems like anytime he gets to go somewhere, he just seems happy to be there.
Well, that's what's funny, because it's kind of against type. We haven't even seen this character. We don't even know if he's going to matter, but he is
he's an asshole.
He's an illegal asshole. So it's funny that that's Kiwi Kwan.
Yeah.
That's basically the episode. Another episode that I don't think had such a cliffhanger of an ending. I don't know, 2 in a row that I guess I was waiting for it. Maybe that says more about me and my expectations with the show. But I think both episodes have so much going on, but then endings that are just like, we know you'll be back.
Yeah. Like, you're so interested in these people that you're going to come back. You don't need much. Yeah, I wanted to say one piece of the episode that we didn't get to talk about was when the ladies are on the beach and they're comparing their test scores. Valentine told Carrie Coon that she had the numbers of a woman half her age, and then he also told Michelle Monaghan that, but he didn't tell Leslie Bibb that. He just said she was average. Again, not like much to say that I haven't already said about these women, but that comparison is so insidious and they play it so well. I tweeted this today, and I also said it on the phone with my mom. There is no saw trap that scares me more than the concept of being put in a vacation villa with these women. Like, I would rather go through anything that happens in Saw 1 through 10 than exist for a moment at the beach with this group of people.
So you really think it's already gone kind of south, but you think it's going to hit new lows very soon?
It's going to hit lows that you can't even
I genuinely can't. I can't, because I also think all 3 of them in the right moment are a fun hang.
Well, yeah, but it's a very superficially fun hang. It's never a genuinely fun hang. You always feel a little bad when you leave. And that's why I love to hate them.
Last episode and at the beginning of this episode, we had Michelle Monaghan and Leslie Bibb's characters gossiping about Carrie Coon's character. Carrie Coon and Leslie Bibb's characters get to gossip about Michelle Monaghan. You get the sense that if anyone leaves the room, gloves are off, you know?
Yeah. It's, oh, God. It's just, and they say that her face looks waxy, and she used to have a face that everyone wanted. Like, the things they're coming up with. Oh, my God. Just, oh, my God. It sends chills down my spine.
All right, so that's the episode. I want to ask a few lingering questions before we move on and get out of here. On the topic of Jacqueline, she mentions her younger boyfriend, Harrison, and she says, oh, yeah, we're like getting it on all the time, which if you have to say that, you're probably not getting it on all the time.
They're not.
Will we meet Harrison? Is this an actor maybe that's going to show up?
God, I hope so. I don't think we will. There are so many good young men who could play her younger boyfriend.
It would be fun if Harrison shows up and takes an interest to one of the other ladies instead of his own wife. You know, that would be classic White Lotus.
God.
That
it would get
so juicy. Harrison, show up. Come to Thailand.
We need Harrison now more than ever.
Victoria, Parker Posey's character, speaking Thai. Was that an overread by me? I think she is playing possum, and there's more to this woman that she's not letting on.
I agree.
But we'll
that
see.
was odd.
Victoria, Parker Posey's character, and Kate, and that baby shower. Did something happen, or is she literally just a drugged out zombie at any event?
I don't know. These are fantastic questions.
Do you have any questions?
What happened to the monk?
Right.
Are we making any progress in getting to the monk? What is the status of that visit?
Piper's doing yoga when she should be getting it on with the monk. Meeting the monk, though.
Yeah. Just what with the younger Ratliff? That shot of Patrick Schwarzenegger's butt and then the younger brother just like, huh?
Did he like lick his lips almost? Yeah.
Like actually disgusting. And yeah, like, are we going to go to Bangkok with Walton Goggins? Are we going to see that side of it? Or is he just going to disappear and then come back?
It could be a huge tonal shift, but it would be kind of cool to see like a Bangkok crime caper for one episode with Walton Goggins. Or is that too much of a departure from the usual? I don't know. It could be like a stylistic jaunt that could be fun.
It could be good. I don't know. If it's done well, it's done well. I'm open to it.
All right, so let's keep going. I want episode 3 right now.
Me too.
We'll see what others think. Let us know what you think of this episode. Allison, I will see you next week to talk about episode 3
next week.
of The White Lotus.